Good evening, everybody. Welcome to my second episode. Hey, so it turns out that this is kind of a thing now. I got myself a new little alien light over here to go with my mushroom light, and I had to spread them apart so they weren't distracting from my head. Not that people want to stare at my head for so long, but either way, what I've got to say might be interesting. At least there's something interesting coming out of the head, so that's good. So there's been a video circling around online of some guy throwing a frisbee, and as he's thrown the frisbee, he's done it in slow-mo, because you know when you take your dog out and you want to watch him catch things in slow-mo, because it's dead cool. I did it with my dog Simon, and I just threw him a bunch of treats, and obviously I recorded it in slow-mo, which is a higher frame rate on the camera. It captures more frames per second. And the dog's and all the treats are flapping around in the face and all that kind of stuff. And it's cool. It's cool. You want to go out with your dog, you want to do those things because you love your dogs. But this dude here has done this with his dog. And if you've not seen this footage already, this is insane. Watch this. Anyway, he's getting ready for his little slow-mo shot, and he throws his frisbee. Boom. And then the aliens show up. And just look at that. Look, right there. What even is that? That's insane. Now, Casper Sight did an amazing analysis on this, and he actually pulled in from somebody that looked at each individual frame. And it looks like, I urge you to check out Casper Sight's channel if you've not already. He's quite a big YouTuber when it comes to this stuff. But the craft seems to stay straight. It moves at an angle and then goes forward, which is really interesting. So there we are. Watch very, very carefully. Right there. That is just insanity. Now, I don't need to go into an analysis on this. I mean, you can make your own mind up. I think it was posted on Reddit, so I'm not sure who the original poster is, who the original person is. I've not really delved that deep into it. But the reason I found this interesting, guys, was because there was some time ago, I do a bit of photography and all this. I've got a different channel for doing my photography. And, the UAP thing's always been of interest of mine. And I was looking to buy a new drone. I was thinking of maybe get the Mavic Air or something like that. And as I was looking on YouTube for videos of which drone to buy, I came across a video by accident of an incident in the Lake District where some guy has been out with his drone and in a very, very similar way accidentally caught one of these objects. So I don't know how similar this is, but this particular piece of footage right here, if you watch careful, the object's actually going to go from the right to the left of the screen. So the top right to the bottom left, pretty much. So this is at full speed. You see it moving? Look at that. Right through. Where did it say it was? It was in Skyside, and this was in 2022. So just watch. It's quite hard to spot at first. But that to me is insane. So that's where it starts. And you've got this disc or whatever it is just hurtling through it at incredible speeds. What is that? What is that? To me, these objects, they're obviously traveling super fast. Now, this guy is flying his drone. He probably doesn't have the frame rate on the camera that the slow-mo shot did, because it captures more frames, which is why it looks a lot smoother on the original. But if you look at just this area here, I'll just try and see. I'm not sure if I can zoom that in, guys, but basically, if you look at this area here, look at that. Right under my screen there. This bit. What is that? And people say, oh, it's a bird. That's one fast bird. I've seen a peregrine falcon flying, right? There's some fast birds. That ain't no peregrine falcon. That ain't no bird of prey. That's a bird of Zeta reticuli, if you ask me. I mean, that's some alien bird, right? Yeah, we could see it's not a weather balloon. It's a fast-moving object that goes right through from this point. I mean, that is some serious speed. Now, look, if you could probably do the calculation, any smart maths people out there, if this footage, let's assume that it's 24 to 30 frames per second, right? And each frame, across the frame, it's moving at a distance of about an inch. I don't know, depending on how big your screen is. Well, I don't know how many pixels that would be, but if we could calculate the distance it's moving between each frame, what the focal length on the original camera was, and this is for some of you clever guys out there, so maybe you could contact this guy. I'll probably send him a message and just say, you know, what was the focal length of the lens that we're using, what was the frame rate that was on there, how far away roughly was he from the object. We could probably get a rough estimation as to how fast this is traveling. And anyway, so I just find that extremely fascinating. So guys, this one is by a guy called Mark Swain, I believe, on YouTube. And he's out with his drone in Cheshire, and this was posted 2 years ago, and he captures yet another one of those strange objects. And what Mark says is, basically, he says, I did not notice this as I was flying my drone. I was just running the battery down and was basically finished. Make your own mind up as to what you think it is. I was thinking it was a bird, but I don't know of any birds that fly that fast, only birds of prey, and this is the wrong color. So let's just take a look at this, guys, because this one is it's quite quick. So we're going to try and slow it down. I've slowed down the footage. We will go back to its original play speed. And there, see? Right there. Boom. If that's a bird, that's a fast bird. That's a Zeta reticula bird. That's a bird, right? That's a bird that basically that's a bird that's just got the child support and needs to get out of there or something, right? Nobody take that offensive. That was supposed to be a joke. Anyway, I mean, look at that. Let's slow it down, guys. That's a bit of fun here, right? So we're going to slow it down to 1 point. No, not going to speed it up. I never see it. Slow it down to about half speed. Look at that. I can't even pause it at half speed. It's that quick. There. Now, if you want to check this out, just put in YouTube, drone captures TikTok or Tic Tac UFO in Cheshire. What the hell did I record? Wow. Imagine you're just out, like, on your drone, and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to get some shots and that, because I love my drone and that. You know, you're going out auditing people, you know, showing off and stuff, annoying people by flying it over private land because the airspace isn't owned by anybody, and then you just, you know, you get the police turning up and that, and you're all like having an argument for TikTok, and then that thing shows up. That's so cool. So guys, I've managed to get the footage in my editing software so we can kind of scrub through. If that's a bird, man, that's a fast bird. Look at the distance that it's covered. I mean, when we start looking at that scene there, it is literally on the horizon. You can just about make out this little white dot on the horizon. So when we look at this footage right here in the top left, where that mouse is, that's the beginning of this object, right? And then as the drone turns, it covers. And then right there, it kind of opens out. So what is that? There, what is that? Can't go in any further. But that's the kind of opening out. Now, you could say that that's... You could say that that's like the wings of a bird. But they look quite square. Like if we look right here, they look quite... Those are some square. Like look at the shape. But then obviously the object's moving really fast. This could be something else that makes it just look blurred and give it that shape, like it might have been a pointier wing. But I don't know. Like, I mean, that's some serious distance to cover. I mean, how far would we say that distance is right there? Because when we let's go back to the original there. So we're just gonna pull it back to full screen restore. Right, just pull it back to there. So when we look at the sheer distance that's covered, again, I'll just take my camera off. It's right here. And by the time he's made a slight turn, the object's traveling. And it covers all of that in that amount of time. Like, boom, there. But then there's a flap of something. It looks like a wing. So what kind of bird can travel that fast? You know? That's a fast bird. I mean, could it be that the footage has been slowed down or sped up? Could the footage have been sped up? I mean, I could investigate that a little bit maybe, but let's see. What we're going to do is we're going to just put the speed controls. And I'm going to make it half. I'm going to make it half. Okay, let's have a look. See, that seems choppy. But then if they've sped up the footage and then bounced that, you know, exported that out at that frame rate, then... But if the drone is only moving that fast, then that could be a bird, yeah? So the question is, Mark, I don't know this guy from Adam. Let's just slow it down just a little bit more. The question is, was this recorded at a slower frame rate? Because that does seem quite fast for a drone to move. And then it's been sped up to look like it's something that it's not. Because that could be a bird. Now, couldn't it? At that speed, that bird could have appeared out. I mean, still, that is a fast bird. But it tilts on an angle, look. There's an angle to it. So, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. This is the important thing that we need to do when people make these claims that they don't know what they are. Or they pretend to not know what they are, but maybe they're just trying to make people think it could be something. But the thing is, I'm not making any claims against this video. I'm not 100% convinced that this is anything spectacular because of the possibility. Now, somebody needs to correct me if I'm wrong, that's fine. But because of the possibility that this quick shot on the drone was shot slower, and then it's been sped up in editing software and then exported out to make it look like it's traveling far faster. But I don't know whether it's natural for drones to take shots in the sky and make turns as quick as this video is doing. Because if I, again, I'm completely on the fence about this one. So I'll just show you what I mean. That's a pretty fast turn for a drone. For a natural shot, is that not a bit too fast? I mean, look at it. I mean, maybe that's it, but it just feels, I don't know what it is. There's something that doesn't feel like that's normal. Maybe like it's been sped up. This is like the whole point I'm trying to make. So yeah, if it's been sped up, then I'm going with bird on that one. If not, then we don't know what that is. Maybe it's an object that has some kind of wings on it, and then it just turns to a certain angle. Interesting stuff. But the one that we saw with the dog didn't have any wings on it, and there's no way that could have been a bird. I mean, like I'm not convinced that's a bird. And the one that goes through the lakes, that drone shot seems a lot smoother. So again, I'm not sure what that is either. And obviously, this guy is just some dude that's out there with his drone, and he's just trying to ask for answers. He don't know what it is. So this next clip that I found is something that I heard about quite a while ago. And I discovered it around about 2018 when I was knee deep into the whole conspiracy of alien stuff. And then I became a tattoo artist and kind of like, this is my re-emergence. And it always stuck in the back of my mind, this one, because this is multiple pilots discussing bright lights that they saw in the sky. Now, we're going to sit and listen to this. And I want you to tell me what you think. Given these objects that we keep seeing in the lakes and given these strange phenomena, you tell me what you guys think of this particular clip. Because these are trained pilots, right? These are people that understand aeronautics. These are people that, go out there every day carrying people on the jollies, and then they report something like this. I'm not sure if this was picked up by, I don't think it was CB radio, but I don't know where the particular recording was leaked from, but yeah, you just tell me what you guys think.
My fault.
Go ahead.
Any military traffic you got right now?
34.260.
134.26, Singapore 25 confirmed.
Paper.
That's all.
Okay, sir, there's nothing showing on either primary or secondary.
Okay, it was moving so fast, in fact, you can no longer see it, but yes, thank you.
990.
It was moving so fast, she says, and nothing's showing up on the radar.
5 by 5, thank you. Alongside you?
Yes. Get to come up on our left-hand side and then rapidly veer to the north, being so bright light, and then it just disappeared at a very high speed. I'm serious wondering.
Listen to that.
It was being so bright light, and then it get to come up on our left-hand side and then rapidly veer to the north, being so bright light, and then it just disappeared at a very high speed. I'm serious wondering. We didn't think it was a likely collision course, we're just wondering what that could have been.
Meteor or another object making some kind of re-entry. Appeared to be multiple objects following the same sort of trajectory. Very bright from where we were.
So they've reported a bright light on the right side heading towards the north by the sounds of it. It's a little bit tricky to listen to hear what they're saying. And then there was multiple objects and they were travelling at incredible speeds.
Okay, that's copied. And is there a direction it was going in or anything? Right, it's copied. Thank you.
The Virgin 76 also saw that in our 11 o'clock position, two bright lights.
Roger, that's copied. Thank you.
Glad it wasn't just me.
No, yeah, very interesting, that one.
Oh, you got a pilot there. Very interesting, that one. Like, in it, like, how often do these pilots see this stuff? I mean, I've personally spoke to a pilot who kind of on the blink just was like, yeah, we see some weird stuff. So I don't know, how common this is, but people speculate it's more common than you'd imagine. In fact, what was it in the disclosure thing? Stephen Greer's work where they were talking about how they have to keep checking this radar equipment in this Mexican airport because they, to make sure it wasn't broken because they kept capturing objects traveling at incredible speeds.
Say again. Okay, thank you.
Virgin 76, I saw two bright lights, 11 o'clock, seem to back over to the right and then climb away at speed, at least from our perspective.
Okay, we're passing that on now. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. I mean, what is it? what are we talking about here? Is it some technology that the government has? Is it aliens? Is it some other unknown thing? What? People are obviously seeing stuff, and I speak to people every day, right? And they go, oh, there's no evidence for UFOs. There's no evidence for them. I'd love to believe. And you're like, these are the pilots. They're not interested in this stuff. They just want to get paid whizzing people around. They're probably overworked, probably need loads of sleep. You know, and then this happens. And they're talking amongst each other on a radio frequency. Just reporting it because it's part of the job and that. What else is it? Obviously, it's unidentified because the pilots didn't identify it. So that ticks the category for unidentified flying object. Or UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. So either these things are from space with other beings in, either it's some technology that we've got, but either way, they are UAPs. Now, the reason I don't think that it's always something that we've got is because of all the other reputable accounts, which we will explore on future videos, of abduction cases. You know, there are so many, like, abduction cases. Like, I mean, look at Alan Godfrey in Todmorden in UK. And how the similarities to that, and obviously it's a corroborated case too, because they had the reports coming from Halifax police station that basically showed that other policemen saw it on the same night. None of them know each other, so it's a corroboration. And then how similar the thing is to the whole Travis Walton thing with Zygmunt Adamski, with all this weird stuff on, which we discussed in a previous video. But this, to me, it's a fascinating thing. And it's an ongoing thing. And it seems to be that very, very recently, everything's ramping up. There's been so many more sightings. People are getting better phones. People are getting better technology. And to all those guys out there that say, well, you know, you've got these phones and everybody's got a phone in the pocket and they see these objects, right? How come everything's dead blurry all the time and all this stuff? Well, look at the size of the moon. You go outside on a full moon and take your phone out and try and capture a clear shot of the full moon, right? It's only recently we've been getting these zoom lenses that are allowing people to take some better shots of the moon. And they're very, very jittery because you have to zoom right in and you got to hold your phone, and it's not easy. Even somebody who does photography myself find it difficult to wield a phone to be able to capture something in the sky. Now, if I was out there with my long lens on a tripod and a UFO showed up, and I was able to zoom in, I was able to set my ISO, I was able to, you know, set my shutter speed and my aperture and all this kind of stuff quickly enough that I could capture it, then maybe we'd get something that was akin to the Turkey UFO footage, or better. But the problem with that is it's just not practical. And the moon looks blurry on most phones when you try it, and that's a massive object. So imagine you see something much smaller than the moon, and it's traveling through the sky. It's going to be very difficult to get a good shot of that. So there was a strange light that me and my partner saw when we were traveling over Burnley Road East a couple of years ago, and I was looking up at the moon, and at the side of the moon is a bright, what looks like a planet or a star. It could have been Jupiter or whatever. And I was watching in the car, and then there was another bright light at the side of it, and I'm thinking, what's that? So I pulls out my little night sky app thing, you know, the little augmented reality thing, and I pointed it up. I was like, okay, so I can't remember. I think it might have been Jupiter or something, because I think it was winter. And I was like, oh, so that's there. What's the other one? So I said to Ellen, my partner, I said, look, pull up. She went, what do you mean? I said, just pull up at the side of the road. So we did. And we were watching this thing, and it never moved. I was like, what is that? And as we started watching it, and I'd been staring at this thing for like a good 10 minutes. It was just solid, stationary in the sky. This bright, bright light, very, very far up. It just started to move, made a turn, and then disappeared over the hills. Now, that was the first time that my partner had seen anything like this, because she's kind of on the fence. She was quite skeptical. But after witnessing something like that, you go, no blinking lights, super bright, can't be a drone, no sound, just an eerie glow, super bright star-like object that was hanging in the sky, stationary. you know, all this time, and then all of a sudden we pull up and then it decides to move. And I just think, wow, like, there could be so many of these, whatever they are, beings, you know, drones, aliens, drones, or whatever, around us all the time, just observing us. But they're going so fast most of the time that you don't see them. And even if you do see them, it's just a glimpse. So, you know, you tell me what you guys think. Massively appreciate anyone who supports my new venture. If you like what you see, drop a comment, drop a like, subscribe, hit the bell, help a brother out. Let's do some more investigations. Now, obviously, at the minute, this is quite a new channel, and I really would like to start interviewing people that have had these experiences themselves. I'd like people to send me their footage. So if you want to send me your footage, I'll leave a link below for you to send the footage to my email. And thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching, and take it easy.